Hello, welcome to another Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report. I'm Jack and I'm using my friend Dan's Warriors of Chaos army. He's using Demons of Chaos and we did a 2000 point battle for the pass. At the bottom is the Warriors of Chaos. We've got 3 Skull Crushers, 5 Warhounds or Chaos Hounds I think they're called, 6 Chaos Knights with the Mark of Nurgle and an Exalted Hero, a Nurgle Demon Prince, 22 Warriors with Mark of Nurgle and Great Weapon, and a Hell Cannon.
Hi, I'm Dan and I'm using my Demons of Chaos army. Have had to do a couple of proxies, so from left to right, at the front there I've got 5 Seekers of Slaanesh, which are being proxied for Hell Striders. Behind them I've got 20 Demonettes with a Herald of Slaanesh, so the Herald is the Sigvald model and the 20 Demonettes are 20 Chaos Warrior models, and next to that I've got 20 Plague Bearers. So on this side of the board I've got 3 Plague Drones and a Soul Grinder with a Mark of Nurgle, and up to that is my Bloodthirster, and just to the bottom left, you can just about see him, is my Herald of Tzeentch on disc.
So I got first turn, and my first turn was pretty uneventful. There's not really anything to say other than I advanced everyone up and I got these Skull Crushers and the Knights coming up against those 2 units on the left, and the Warriors sort of advanced towards the middle. Wasn't really sure what to do with them or where they could go, because they certainly can't handle the right flank on their own, but they're a bit out of the way there. And in my magic phase I rolled a double 1 and I don't think I cast anything.
Okay, so in my movement phase I charged my Seekers into the Knights, which are a bit suicidal, but I kind of thought that they were going to die at some point anyway, so I just hoped I might take out a couple of Knights with them. Everything else just moved up. Made the rather stupid mistake of marching my Soul Grinder, in spite of the fact that I'd given it Phlegm Bombardment, so it means I couldn't shoot anything at all. And that's it for my movement. Okay, in my magic phase, the only spell I managed to get off was Glittering Robe. The Reign of Chaos table had no effect, so my Seekers now have a 4+ armor save. So in the combat phase, my Seekers didn't kill any Knights, I was hoping they would, and they lost 3 in return, but it did turn out that Glittering Robes was worth it, because I saved 2 that are left with that armor save.
So Warriors turn 2. The Skull Crushers can just about get in on the surviving Seekers, so they just charge the Seekers, and the Demon Prince flies over the top to charge the Plague Bearers. And on the right hand side the Warriors make the somewhat perhaps foolish decision to charge the Soul Grinder. I reckon it's going to be pretty close between those units, being as the Soul Grinder's toughness 7, so even with great weapons they're not on 5+, but we'll have to see what happens there. So in my magic phase, I'm pretty sure I rolled a double 1 again for this magic phase, but I did manage to get a spell off, which was Curse of the Leper onto the Warriors, and I rolled to get them up to toughness 6, which is nice. The Soul Grinder is only strength 6, so it's going to be winning them on 4+ instead of 2+. So in the shooting phase, last turn I forgot to mention the Hell Cannon didn't do anything, just scattered off. This turn I didn't want to shoot the Bloodthirster just because it was too close to the Warriors and I was worried about it scattering off. So I aim for the Plague Drones, it scatters off but still gets them with the template and causes 1 wound. Close combat now, and the Skull Crushers and Knights predictably destroy the surviving 2 Seekers, and Skull Crushers overrun and manage to make it into the Plague Bearers, which was great. That's what I was hoping for. So the Skull Crushers and the Demon Prince now attack the Plague Bearers, and as a result of that I take no wounds and kill 8 of the Plague Bearers. I think a couple of them crumble as well. The Demon Prince rolls very badly to hit, as we'll see that trend continues, but still it's not a bad result. In the Soul Grinder combat, the Soul Grinder attacks first because my Warriors have got great weapons. I'm toughness 6 thanks to Curse of the Leper, and the Soul Grinder only manages to kill 1. I then roll to hit, and it's got Mark of Nurgle, so I still need a 4+. Should get quite a few hits, so let's see what I rolled. I mean, just look at this roll to hit. My Warriors have been taking lessons obviously from my Demon Prince in combat tactics, because I got 4 hits out of what, about 15 or 16 attacks. It's just pathetic. It doesn't even begin to describe it. So 4 hits. I'm wounded on a 5+ because it's down to 7. So what? Maybe 1 wound. So this is my wound roll. Boom, 4 wounds. Suck on that. The Soul Grinder then thunderstomped 3 more to death. And then it also saved one of the wounds that I caused, so it took 3 wounds. Unfortunately, my plan didn't come to fruition and it didn't crumble at all due to demonic instability. So I'm stuck there, and next turn I'm going to get a Bloodthirster in the face.
In my movement phase, I charge my Demonettes into the front of the Skull Crushers and my epic Bloodthirster into the side of the Warriors, and we'll see how that pans out for them. So this is a close-up of the combat with the Demonettes, the Plague Bearers, the Skull Crushers and the Demon Prince. And here's a close-up of the other combat with the Warriors, the Soul Grinder and the Bloodthirster, who is going to own them. In this combat, the Plague Bearers suffered about 6 casualties, I think. The Demonettes suffered about 3. My Herald lost a wound and the Skull Crusher lost a wound. As you can see, there's a card behind the Skull Crushers. That's Phantasmagoria, which was cast by my Herald in the magic phase. In this combat, the Bloodthirster, as you can see, kills a huge number of warriors. The Soul Grinder takes a couple of wounds in return. The Bloodthirster doesn't take any. And again, as you can see, there's a card behind the Soul Grinder that is Glittering Robes. So the Soul Grinder then had a 2+ armor save, which certainly helped him out.
So this is Warriors of Chaos turn 3, and in the movement phase I sort of move the Warhounds around closer to that combat. For some reason, I've got no idea why, but they do move around at the centre of blood, I think, and I reform the Knights to face the Bloodthirster, ready to give him a scene 2 or something. In my magic phase, a bit of a turn up for the books. The previous 2 phases I rolled double 1 both times, and this time the dice gods smile on me and I roll a 3 instead of a 2. So I don't believe anything of consequence happens in the magic phase. Straight onto the combat, and you can see only 1 Demonette has died. That's because the 2 Skull Crushers on the right hand side had to divert their attacks into the Plague Bearers, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have killed them thanks to the useless efforts of the Demon Prince. But I did manage to kill the Plague Bearer block off, so that's nice. And in this combat I finally remembered that I could challenge out the Bloodthirster to limit his damage, so I did that, and he only managed to kill a couple, and well, he killed 1 and got lots of overkill. The Soul Grinder killed 1, but then with my attacks back I managed to kill the Soul Grinder.
So my movement phase, very simple, it's only 1 thing to move. I charged my Plague Drones into the Warhounds, and as you can see, Jack had reformed his warriors to face my Bloodthirster. Not that's going to help them. In this combat between the Skull Crushers and the Demonettes, my Demonettes attack first with Always Strikes First. I managed to kill 1 Skull Crusher. He managed to kill my Herald in return. The Demonettes win combat, but the Skull Crushers hold. This combat was a bit of a foregone conclusion, really. The Bloodthirster killed all the warriors before they could even strike, and the Plague Drones easily killed all the Warhounds.
Warriors turn 4, and my Knights, actually I decide to back them up a few inches just to be sure that they can't be charged by the Bloodthirster next turn. I can't foresee that going too well for them, so there's no point letting them die any sooner than necessary. And my Demon Prince charges into the flank of the Demonettes just to help things go a bit faster there. In my magic phase I cast Curse of the Leper on the Plague Drones, because after they destroyed the Warhounds in the previous turn, Dan had sort of reformed them ready to charge on into the Hell Cannon, and so I minus their toughness, and hopefully that might deter them from charging, or if they charge it might make it a bit easier to kill them. So on to combat, and my Demon Prince has got a chance to prove himself finally. I mean, he has a Sword of Striking, but because of the Mark of Nurgle, he was only hitting the Plague Bearers previously on a 3+, so now he's hitting on a 2+, and as you can see, this is the role that he manages, which pretty much sums up his performance so far. I mean, I wasn't even surprised when I saw this role. You know, I thought it was good that I got 2 hits when I'm hitting on 2+. Yeah. But when all's said and done, I still managed to kill 7, by the looks of it, 7 demonettes, and don't take any wounds in return, so that's going quite well.
So in my movement phase, I moved my Bloodthirster all the way across the board to scare the bejesus out of Jack's warriors, which you'll see in the next turn succeeds. And here you can see I successfully charged my Plague Drones into the Hell Cannon. So here the Bloodthirster used his Noxious Breath on the Knights, only strength 2, but managed to get 3 successes to wound, and it's no armor save, so I killed 3. So in my combat phase, out of shot here, because we can get a photo of it, the Skull Crushers and the Demon Prince finish off the Demonettes and they reform, and in this combat, in the photo, the Plague Drones managed to cause 2 wounds on the Hell Cannon, which causes 1 wound in return, but everyone's unbreakable, so they're all stuck there.
So Warriors turn 5, this is how it looks near the Bloodthirster at the start of the turn. And after my movement, this is how it looks. The Demon Prince charges the Herald, which is just by the building there. You can just about see it. I think the Herald's caught a bit unaware, and I get a flank charge off on him. The Knights and the Exalted Hero march well away from the Bloodthirster, but the Skull Crushers, I intended to march them out of the way as well, so that the Bloodthirster couldn't charge anymore next turn. Unfortunately, they fail their march test, so or whatever it's called, so they can't march. And with a bit of measuring, I realised that they can't actually get anywhere where they can't be charged by the Bloodthirster next turn, so I figure they might as well just leave them there. So I don't think there's anything really happens in the magic phase, and in the combat phase, here's a close-up of the Demon Prince in the flank of the Herald. Demon Prince, still not doing great. It caused a few wounds, all of which are saved by the Herald, by his ward save. Herald does nothing in return, and purely from the shock of being charged by this Demon Prince, the Herald disappears in a puff of smoke and dies from demonic instability. And it's a bit of what is commonly known as a pillow fight, I believe, with the I caused 1 more wound on the Plague Drones, but they don't do anything to the Hell Cannon, so we're still all stuck there.
My Bloodthirster has to make his charge in the Skull Crushers, and that's all the movement, as I've only got him and the Plague Drones left, which are already in combat. I have no magic phase to speak of, as both my Heralds are dead, so in the combat phase, the Bloodthirster had to accept a challenge from the Skull Crusher champion, which he easily defeated, but the other Skull Crusher didn't flee. And in the other combat, which we haven't got a photo of with the Plague Drones, I think the Plague Drones caused 1 wound on the Hell Cannon and none in return, so they're all stuck there for another turn.
Warriors turn 6, and the Knights with the Exalted Hero managed to make a rear charge into the Plague Drones, so hopefully they can save the day and save the Hell Cannon from being slowly throttled to death by them. And the Demon Prince just flies up behind them to be in range for spells and whatnot, and well away from the Bloodthirster, of course. In the magic phase, I cast a spell, I believe it was Blades of Putrefaction, which gives poison attacks. 4 diced it and miscast with 3 6s, but nothing too terrible happened as a result of the miscast. And the Knights with the Exalted Hero do manage to do a fair bit of a number on the Plague Drones, and I think 1 or 2 of them die. It looks like they're almost certainly going to crumble, because I've got the rear charge and banner and stuff as well. But on the instability test, they roll a double 1, so they get all their wounds back. So now it's going to come down to, can I kill them in the final turn? And needless to say, the Bloodthirster butchers the lone surviving Skull Crusher and turns around to glare at the rest of my army.
In my last turn, there wasn't much to do really. The Bloodthirster was too far away to do anything, and as you can see, the Plague Drones succumb to the flurry of blows from the Knights and the terrifying Hell Cannon.
And with that, that's the end of the game. I've still got the Knights and the Exalted Hero, BSB, the Hell Cannon and the Demon Prince, and the only thing left for the Demons is the Bloodthirster, so we'll go to victory points. So Warriors got 1,525 and Demons 763, so that's victory for Warriors. It was a bit scary facing that bloodthirst. I didn't have many answers for it apart from the held cannon, which kept not really doing anything. And the Demon Prince had some really bad rolls for magic, and he didn't cast that much. As well as that, he was just abysmal in combat. I mean, he was just hitting like once or twice with his attacks and rolling pretty poor thunderstomps as well. But despite that, you know, he still managed to help kill 2 of the blocks and also the Herald of Tzeentch, and he survived till the end of the game. You know, I've still got a few units left, so it was a really fun battle. It's nice to do a smaller one for a change. As you might have seen, we've got quite a lot of big end times battles, which we'll doubtless go back to shortly. But just a bit of a change to use some normal armies as well instead of the big end times armies. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.